our computer got a little goofed up and kind of did away with the fraction bars, but what we have is negative 1/2, or 1/2, equals 3/8 y. So what I'm always asking students is, why is the variable not alone? And here it's not alone because of the 3/8. Now, what is the 3/8 doing? Well, when a number, any number, is right up against a variable, you guys can go ahead and leave. It's 36. You're close enough. When a number, any number, is right up against a variable, that is multiplication. Some people like to put that fraction in parentheses to make it a little bit easier to tell that it's multiplication. You could also put the y in parentheses, but you really don't need to. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you remembering that. But so right now we don't have 1y and we want 1y. The reason we don't have it is y is multiplied by 3/8. Now normally when a variable is multiplied by something, we divide. Like if the problem we had was 10 equals 5 times y, in that situation we would divide by 5 because that will get the y by itself. So we would divide by 5 and divide by 5, and we would actually get that y is 2. Which makes sense because 5 times 2 equals 10. Up here, dividing by a fraction, if what we want to do is divide because they multiply, if we want to divide by 3/8, I could, now I'm not saying we want to, but I could draw a big division line and divide by 3/8. But that gets really complicated, right? This becomes like a really big stacked complex fraction. So while we can do this, a better route is to avoid that crazy complicated division, and instead of dividing by 3/8, we could multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction, which would be 8/3. So we could divide by 3/8, or our alternative option is multiply by 8/3. If we go and do that, I'm going to multiply by 8/3 out here, and I'm going to multiply by 8/3 out here. Now, of course, I'm going to write this again down here to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to write what we started with. 1/2 equals 3/8 times y. And then we said we're going to multiply by 8/3 on both sides. No, I am not sponsored by Apartments.com, but if they would like to sponsor me, I would love some free swag from Apartments.com. I have a friend who works there. If I haven't said that to you guys yet, that's why I have these Post-its. So what happens here, I'm going to write our like in-between step in green. 8 times 1, okay, 8. 3 times 2, okay, 6, equals 3. Okay, so if I want to make all of these fractions, how do I make y into a fraction? What should I put it over? A 1, right? So if I put this over a 1, 3 times y times 8, well, 24y, right? I multiply the numbers together and I bring the variable with us. 8 times 1 times 3 for the denominators is still 24. What do I get when I have 24 over 24? 1. So I'm getting towards my goal here. We wanted 1y. So now we do have 1y. And if this all becomes 1, I don't even have to write the 1. I could if I want to write the 1. But what I care about is the y. So we can write the 1 if we want to. We don't have to. 8/6. Both of these numbers are even. So I know it can reduce. So if I divide by 2 and divide by 2, I will get 4/3. So y is equal to 4/3. Yep. So I dropped the negative because when I drew these symbols, I covered up the negative. So you're absolutely right. This should have been 8 times -1, our -1 up here. So this numerator should have been negative. And then since there's only one negative, my answer is negative. So good catch. Thank you very much. Like I tell you guys, dropping the negative is the biggest mistake I see in problems like this, forgetting the negative, or just not working with the fractions correctly. Which, let me check to see if you guys emailed me another. Sweet. So I'm going to stop this video and then start a new